I mentioned this in a video, I think yesterday or the day before. The days have kind of bled together with me being sick on the weekend. And I understand I've put out a lot of videos today, but I had some catching up to do from last night and whatnot. I have been feeling better today. Knock on wood. I have to work tomorrow morning at 8, which means while I'm at work, the hockey gods hate me. First off, I dropped my marker. That proves the hockey gods hate me. Second proof hockey gods hate me is right here. Dallas and Boston play each other twice in a given season. Now, when I gear up to watch Dallas and Boston play each other, it's like when Boston plays Vancouver, Boston plays Dallas. I wear a jersey for one, I wear the other one. Okay, the way I used to do it, especially when it was Dallas and Vancouver in the playoffs, I would wear a Canucks jersey. I'd have a Dallas jersey around my neck, tied off like a cape, and I would have a Dallas jersey tied around my waist, facing front, and a Canucks jersey facing back, tied around my waist as well. That way, I looked as bandwagonish as possible, and I kind of looked stupid. And not only that, but if I was wearing hats, well, I'd have a Canucks hat, and then I'd have a Dallas hat over top turned backwards. It was a sexy look. It's a shame that back in 1994 there wasn't an internet, because if there was, oh God. Anyways, but I still kind of suit up for these games because I can have fun. I don't have to worry about who wins. So who am I cheering for? Glad you asked. Boston. Boston's in the better spot right now. And while I would love to say I'm cheering for Dallas because they need the win more, and they do, I love what Boston's got going on. They haven't lost in regulation for a while, and I really want to see that continue. Now, because we don't know the goaltending matchups, it's way too early to know goaltending matchups for tomorrow's games. And because this game's on at 9:30 in the morning my time while I'm at work, I just put down the battery. I put the starter first and the backup. Starter for Dallas, Bishop at 9:16, Lettinen at 9:07. I think Dallas's goaltending has been consistently inconsistent, but Bishop is the stronger goaltender. And when he's on, he's still one of the best in the league. Boston, Rask at 9:19, Hudobin at 9:25. Goaltending has not been an issue for Boston past about Game 10 this year. If you look at the record the first 10 games of this year, if you look at the first Power Rankings video I did this year, Boston was not looking too hot. I was all ready to just throw the season out. This game tomorrow should be highly entertaining. Since they're two teams I cheer for, they probably won't get along. I'm not saying it's because they're fighting over my interest, but sure, let's play it that way. I think it'll be low scoring because most NHL games are now. We're getting to that point where teams are really tightening it up. And I would not be surprised to see Boston win this. Dallas is not as good on the road as they're at home. And Boston in Boston is just intimidating. And for the Bruins, they have to deal with Montreal 2 more times. This Dallas game, they can't let it get away from them. They have to keep their eye on the ball here. While they're playing their games in hand on Toronto, they need to win them. That's the important thing about games in hand. When you play them, you have to win them, or it doesn't matter. Anaheim is in Colorado. Very interesting matchup. 20-15-9 Anaheim and 23-16-3 Colorado. Both teams are on an upswing. Both teams are playing better. Gibson's got a .923 save percentage. Ryan Miller, in limited appearances, .935. Miller's been pretty damn good in Anaheim. For Colorado, Varlamov .912, Bernier .911. I haven't heard anything about Varlamov coming back for tomorrow's game. I haven't seen anything on the injury wire about it. So I would bet Bernier is going to start against his former team tomorrow, and that often is quite the incentive for a player. You gave me up. I'm going to prove you wrong. And for a goaltender, it's even doubly so. You were the last line of defense. They decided they didn't need you. You want to make them feel kind of dumb for letting you go. So I'm looking for a big game from Bernier. Possibly a fighty game. And I wouldn't even be surprised if this one has a lot of goals in it somehow, one way or the other. My money would be on Anaheim. Just because. Colorado's got this nice winning streak going. Anaheim's playing good hockey too. And something has to give here. And I would say Anaheim on the road, sure. Anaheim's getting better on the road. Colorado's been great at home. I'm just saying that tomorrow, maybe the stars align, and I'll give a win to Anaheim. And that's just based on nothing more than a gut reaction. And since it's Martin Luther King Day, of course, there's games played early in the day because it's a holiday. Which brought me to an interesting comment with Yvonne earlier, which was, why don't they just play games on the weekend earlier all the time then? I mean, if it's more profitable to play games on holidays earlier in the day, why don't you just play weekend games earlier in the day? If it's ad revenue the NHL is looking for or exposure on television, why do we just have a couple of matinee games? Why don't we just make anything on a day when people are likely going to be off work, make them matinee games, which includes Canadian holidays? Stop screwing us around. Next up, San Jose's in LA. 22-13-6 San Jose. 24-14-5 LA. There's very little to choose between these two teams, and they hate each other. And LA is going to feel kind of punchy coming off of that loss against Anaheim. Kind of sort of punchy. And as Anaheim fans will be sure to tell you today, they're a team that's frustrating to play against, and they do tend to cut some corners of their own. I think the frustration with Cogliano's suspension is they felt that Doughty committed worse and got away with it. And I'm not going to weigh in on that because it's a little too early to be weighing in on that. Personally, I think it's a little too early. But it is a smash-mouth style of game that the Kings can play. And San Jose can play it too. This game could be kind of brutal, especially if San Jose is leading, say, 3-0 after 2. Watch the Kings in the third. Just throwing that out there. Watch them in the third. Jones is the starter with .911 save percentage. Dell's the backup with .924. This took a hit in one of his recent games he played. Quick .924 starter. Kemper .934. There are no goaltending issues in LA. None. Not even close. And when Darcy Kemper signed on there, I was like, oh, I don't know about that backup job. Kemper, coming out of Minnesota, looked like his career was over. Goes into LA and he proves, nope. I remember at the end of last season, and there was a video even on it, on how I felt that his career was done. And, it was a shame, but goaltending is that kind of business. It's what have you done for me lately? And in his case, all he's done is get better and start playing the way that he showed in his rookie season that he could in Minnesota, and now he started to realize that potential in LA. And for San Jose, it doesn't really matter who they start. Jones can be a game stealer, and Dell usually is. I don't think there's a goalie controversy in San Jose anytime soon, and I've been asked that too. Do you think Dell's going to start stealing starts from Jones? Not necessarily. One of the things you have to remember when you're looking at backups that have better save percentages than the starters in front of them, they may be playing weaker opponents. They're usually playing weaker opponents. They're usually not playing the stronger teams. So it's understandable if a backup has a better save percentage. And there's been more than one occasion where a backup with a really good save percentage has managed to get a good job and a contract and some certainty in their monies for the next, say, 5-6 years. And then you find out they're not really a starter. They were just playing what in goalie terms is protected minutes. They're only playing certain teams and in certain situations. I'm not saying that's happening here. I'm just saying that does happen, and it can explain why your backup looks so good compared to the starter. Why is the backup so good? And I've heard it said more than once, the backup is usually the most popular guy on the team with fans. Fans will love the backup. The Islanders are in Montreal. This is an interesting one. 22-18-4, 18-20-5. Halak is the starter. Greiss is the backup. I have Price at 9-11 here. I'll get into New York in a minute. Niemi at 865. I have Lindgren on here because Lindgren's not on the roster. But if anything were to happen to Price, Charlie Lindgren's coming up and he's going to be the starter. Niemi is there simply as a placeholder. He is being told, just wait here. We'll give you your paycheck. And if anything happens to Carey, I'm sorry, but Lindgren's our guy. And at this point in his career, Niemi's answer is, all right, cool. He's a team guy. Goaltending in New York. Halak has had a couple of better starts lately, but that .906 save percentage points to the fact that they haven't consistently had the goaltending. And Greiss with an .882. You can't win games with a goaltender with an .882 save percentage. That is early 80s level for goaltenders. I can't stress enough that the Islanders really need to figure this out, because the Islanders are in a position to make the playoffs and make some noise, but they've got to come up with a permanent solution. Last year they had the three-man rotation, and Halak got thrown in the minors, and Berube was there. Like, no, don't do this. You've saddled the Islanders fans with 2 to 3 goaltenders at a time who maybe are good enough, but probably not. And fix it. Because a lot of teams have fixed their goaltending, including a team that this is their first year in existence. They fixed their goaltending before they played their first game. They let Calvin Pickard go, and they went out and got Malcolm Subban, and we all went, what? And that worked out really, really well. Which tells me that either the Islanders, either Garth Snow is not doing his due diligence with his goaltending, or their scouting is getting it wrong. It's one or the other. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's only 4 games. I didn't see the need for timestamps. But again, thank you guys for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And I'm wearing this because the guy who sent me this jersey finally hit the subscribe button. I promise I won't pass your information along to Google. This jersey and hat matches so nicely. I like it so much. This is one of those jerseys I'd always hunted for and could not find. And it's just awesome that it's mine and it's part of the collection. And I'll throw this in at the end. I have a couple of shirts coming. When those shirts arrive, I'm going to go through this entire rack. I'm going to number each hanger, catalog which jerseys in which place, and I'm going to do the definitive countdown of jerseys. Because unless subscribers are sending me jerseys, personally, I'm probably done buying them. There was one more that I had on my wish list on eBay. I grabbed it, so that's one of the ones that's coming. I found one on Sport Check for 50 bucks, where I was like, yeah, I've been looking at that one for a while, so I grabbed it. And there was one that I made a $20 bid on eBay for. I didn't have any fight on that one, so we'll see when I get it whether I got a really good deal on a jersey or if it's fake. We'll see when it arrives. That's almost that's the fun. Is when you're buying from a small dealer, you don't know. Are you getting the real genuine article, or are you getting counterfeit goods? To me, in the pictures on there, and they weren't just stock pictures from a magazine, it looks real. It looks like a real jersey. But I'll go over it when it gets here. And thank you guys for watching. You guys make it awesome. That's why I did this today. That's why I did all kinds of videos today. So that you guys get your quota from me one way or the other. Thanks for watching. And remember, because I did this now, it'll be a little later tomorrow doing my videos. But you guys will know beforehand, and I'll talk to you again soon.